Okay, so in this video, just like in the last one, where we set up an inventory for the cutting board, we're going to set up a very similar inventory for the grill. So let's take a look at the script that we have already for bin control. So bin control says that if the mouse is clicked on any objects that the bin is attached to, the name is checked, and then it checks the three variables representing the three locations on the cutting board. So we're going to do almost exactly the same thing. We're going to check the name of the object that's being clicked on, because all of this is just if you're clicking on the bin, the bun bin object. Now we need to do the same thing for the hamburgers. And that's the name of the object. So if game object dot name equals hamburgers, then we want stuff to happen. I would copy and paste this, but a lot of it is really going to be changed. So even though the format is very similar, the logic is very similar, the actual names are changing. So really can't recycle much of it. We're recycling the principle, so we're not reinventing the wheel, but the actual code we'd have to change somewhat substantially. So again, we're looking to the gameplay script. This time we're looking not at cutting board, but at grill S1. So if that is equal to empty, and by default it should be, let's double check. It is not. I never did that with the second set. So we'll quickly come over to gameplay, set the grill to empty, save it, come back to the bin control. So if grill S1 is equal to empty, we want something to happen. Well, similarly, we want to have an object instantiated. In this case, we want to instantiate, and is the object just called hamburger? Burger object. So instantiate burger object, comma, new vector 2, and over there it is, it's like 7 is the center, so maybe 6 for the left, and we'll keep it like about 0 for the center as far as vertically. So 6 comma 0. Now, whereas this is instantiating a top and a bottom bun, we only need one instantiate line, because we're only instantiating one burger. And as I said, there's 3 arguments, and the third one is the rotation, so burger object rotation. So what is being instantiated, where it's being instantiated, expressed as XY coordinates, and then the rotation. That is almost it. We also need to reset that value, that variable. So in this case, it's grill S1 gets set to full. Let's test that really briefly, but since this is our second go at it, I don't really see there being any problem. So now if we click on hamburger, one should instantiate, and it did. Now, one of the things you probably notice is the grill is huge. So you could either make the grill smaller, or if you want to allow for more objects to be cooked, or make the objects bigger, whatever you want to do. If you want to have more locations on the grill, or the cutting board for that matter, it's just creating more variables and then creating the corresponding locations for them to appear in. Alright, so that worked. So now what we're going to do is now we are going to copy and paste. Copy and paste. So we have to check for 2, 2, 3, 3, and now we have to change the location. So that was 6, that will be 7, that'll be 8. And so just to make this work, we just need the else's in between. Because what happens is if we don't have the else, it'll do this, and then it'll go right into the next one and right into the next one. So by using the else, it'll only do one. There we go. And you can keep clicking and nothing happens. Same thing for the buns. So for now, that gives us our inventories. Now we need to start aging these. Either way, you could either work on the code to drag and drop it, or you can age it. Might as well do the aging. We'll do it in order of what you want to happen. So now we want aging to occur. So that means we need to add a new variable. So we need a script to actually be attached to the individual cookable items. So in this case, the burger patty and the hot dog. So let's right click, create C#, and we'll call this cook food. We will click on the prefab, we'll drag and drop the cook food, and now we'll open that up. So for cooking food, we need a variable. We do not want it to be static. That way, if it's not static, then the variable we create will be unique for each and every object that gets instantiated. So that way, what we're going to do is we're going to create a timer, and that way the timer is unique for each instance of the, in this case, the hamburger. So public float, and we'll say cooking time, and it'll start at 0. In the update section, we want cooking time to be incremented. So plus equals time dot delta time. So what's time dot delta time? Remember math class, delta means change in. So this is the change in time. So take this value and drop how much time has passed since the last time this has been run, which is once per frame. Now, if cooking time is greater than, say, 6, and this is purely arbitrary, so we're saying 6 seconds. If cooking time is greater than 6, then we want to change the color. So get component, sprite renderer dot color equals new color. And the way this works is it's RGB and then alpha. So in other words, the level of transparency. So we want this to be brown. So what you're actually doing is, by default, if you're not designated in color, then it's 1, 1, 1, 1. In other words, it's 100% of each color. So to change the color, you actually have to make the color less than 1. So to make this brownish, what do we want to do? Do we want to remove green? So let's try that. So let's try 1, 1, 0. We won't change the transparency, so you can just not put it there. And let's see. how that works. So what should happen is I click on this, the burger appears, and then 6 seconds later it should change color. Okay, and it made it a brown color just like we wanted, so that is looking pretty good. Now, the problem with this is that we also want to be able to burn it. So, if cooking time is less than 6, let's see, I believe if it's the same variable, we can just do, we don't need the extra parentheses. So less than, probably shouldn't have bothered copying since we're making so many changes. So if cooking time, let's actually change that. Let's make that 5. If nothing else for demonstrative purposes so you don't have to wait as long. So if cooking is less than 5 and greater than 5 and less than 10, then make it brown. However, if it's greater, actually we only need 1, we don't need 2 sides for this. So if it's greater than 10, then we want it to be black. So I believe we'll just take everything out then. So let's click on it. It's brown. It's black. Perfect. And if you want, when we get into the bells and whistles, I could create a particle system so like smoke starts coming off of the grill to really bring your attention to the fact that it's burnt and needs to be tossed. So, but yeah, so making it cook that easy. Actually, let's do one more thing. Now, if everything's working as intended, they should all have their own timer. And they do. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so we made some good progress. Let's just do a couple more quick things and then that will be it for this video. So, in bin control, we check for the bun, the bun bin, and we check for the hamburger bin. So what we'll do now is we'll check for the hot dog. In this case we will copy and paste because the other one we were going from buns to grill and this one we're going grill to grill. So if game object dot name equals hot dog bin, and again it's checking for the grill, but we want to instantiate hot dog object. Oops, got to make sure we're in the right place. Sorry about that. Hot dog object at hot dog object rotation. Now we want them to appear in the same place because we want it to be an either or situation. Now I've seen some games that are even easier where there's 3 slots for hamburgers, 3 slots for hot dogs, and they don't take up each other's place. You can do that if you really want to. That's purely a game balance choice. And it really isn't any harder because, like I said, the inventory is just 2 things. One, keeping track of the variable that says, is this inventory slot full, and the actual code placement of the object if the variable says it's not full. So your choice, but this is how we're going to do it. This way they have to make a decision between which one they want. And that's the whole idea. It's resource management. It's time management, resource management. So again, we want hot dog object at hot dog object rotation. And if you want, you guys actually could just type this out from scratch. I'm just kind of going through it quickly since we're getting towards the end of this video. And like I said, by doing this, I think it really impresses upon you that you've just really you haven't reinvented the wheel. You've taken an inventory system and you've just extended it out to another object. And unless I missed something really obvious, that's it. You've just extended the grill functionality to the hot dogs. And that's one of the nice things about using this. I think I have to apply this to the hot dog as well. I don't think it's attached yet. So in the cook food script, you're just changing the color. You didn't create a whole new image. So this same functionality will work 100% without any changes. So let's make sure everything is saved. Okay, we didn't make any changes to gameplay, but we'll check. We'll take a hot dog object. We'll attach the cook food script to it. And let's hope this works. So if I click on hot dog, they're kind of small, but they're there. It looks like they did turn brown, yeah, because these are reddish to begin with. So if they were a little bit bigger, it'd be more obvious. But there you go. So it was that easy to add the aging or cooking aspect to the grill. And like I said, the key is that you are not using static variables. You're using a non-static variable. That way, every single object that this script is attached to, this is a unique variable. So you actually have 3 of these at once. You actually have 3 variables, all called cooking time, and they're all independent of each other. So this is probably a really good place to stop because I think we got a lot done here. So next time we'll probably look at the actual drag and drop functionality. So that's new. That's some new coding that we haven't done yet. And then from that point, it's really just taking the food and handing it to the customer. And actually, I just noticed something. In between videos, my system rebooted. So I lost our work, and so I had to do it from scratch. I just noticed that the mustard and ketchup is missing. So sorry about that. We can just push that over and push that over. And in between videos, what I'll do is I will add the collider circles to them. So my apologies if there's any confusion. And so to avoid that from happening again, the last thing we'll do is we'll choose Save Scene, and we will give this a name. We'll call this Cooking Cart. And that should do it.